and ongoing support after all this program ended. And even after for example, education or the training ends, we need all the time do the follow-up. And this, of course, for all the sectors, and mainly, of course, in the green, digital, and innovative sectors.
Okay, thank you. But let me challenge you on 2 points. And the first one, that will be, for example, when we see all this community of startup and working in entrepreneurships, that will be is the project and all the program. They are not so inclusive. All the times, they are the same communities, the same peoples, from the same social class, yes, who they are in these programs, or they are from some universities, etc. They have some with the same profiles. And youth from popular cities, from inland regions, they are not included in this. The second one is, and I am independent directors in one sovereign fund, and all the problems that, and we funded many investment funds, and the problem is what? And all these startups and all these projects launched by youth, many of them, they are not so sophisticated. They are just copy and paste with, and they cannot be really having, it's not technological startups. It's just based in platform economy. They see one platform who work in other countries, and they just like to duplicate in their home countries. And these problems of, to resolve the problem of, to be more inclusive, and the people from inland regions, and they are not so well educated, including them, and also having good startups, also they are the problem. And I know that you manage projects, they work in the inland regions and with, yes, with these populations, and if you can share your thought and your experience in that.
Okay, you're right, Majdi, because I think this is the issue not only in Tunisia, but also in a lot of countries within the region. We focus all the time on the capital. For example, we all the time see success stories in the capital, or always there is the flashy startups that are all the time speaking and going to panels and presenting their products. But the real startups and the real people who are really participating in the economic development of the countries, we don't talk about them. Why? Because they don't speak French or English, and they cannot present well their products. So this is the issue, honestly, not coming from the startups or from the entrepreneurs, but it comes more from the support structures. And the support structures, generally, they provide what people want to hear, or what the grant providers want to hear. Sorry, the grant provider want to create jobs, startups, okay. I'm creating success stories, I'm creating jobs, but the reality sometimes, support structures, they don't really go to the reality of the problems, they don't really show the reality of things, and they just, again, like supporting with startups, for example, who can present well their programs for the donors. And this is the reality, we don't talk about that, okay? So one of the solutions could be also the interior regions are lack of economic opportunities. We all the time say the same things, and we never do actions. Like small actions we're doing within our countries, not only Tunisia again. JZ, for example, or other support structures, they're going to the interior regions to support and to do their best. But the support structure, national support structure, unfortunately, they take the easy way to support young people. And this is supporting them in the capital. So for example, in our case, I represent today the Tunisia Foundation for Development. And Tunisia Foundation, we created technical hubs or technological hubs within the most vulnerable regions in Tunisia, where there is the highest unemployment rate there, where there is a lot of problems. And we decided to go to the problem and to fight the problem. So today we have 4 centers, technological centers with high fiber optic internet, totally equipped, that can host people. We have centers with a capacity of with more than 180 square meters of space that can host these people. And we are building 3 more. By end of 2029, we are planning to have 10 hubs within the country. It's called ELIF, if you want to see more of this model. And it worked. First, in the beginning, it doesn't work. We faced a lot of challenges, but we're trying at least to reproduce the entrepreneurial cycle within the region. The sensitivize, the raise awareness until we try to find, for example, good startups within that, not speaking well English or French.
Okay. Thank you, Afif. And let's move to Hossein, and I will thank the organizer, because when we have Hossein with us and we focus in vocational education and training, and I think personally that will be one of the good way to resolve problem of employment in the regions, because all the time we discuss about graduate, we discuss about entrepreneurships, but we forget that all these people, they cannot be not only from the talent and cannot be entrepreneur, they can be driven by vocational training. And Hossein, he's a instructor, and he's from General Director of Vocational Education Training in Lebanon. And my question to Hossein is, what are the best policy to address sectorial skills and also to promote vocational trainings? Because all the times in the region, vocational trainings, when you go there, it's that we are failures in the regular education systems. You go to the vocational, but we see in all the data that the lowest rate of unemployment is for qualified workers.
Exactly.
Please.
Thank you, Majdi. Hello, everyone. To begin with, I'd like to make a small introduction about the Euro-Mediterranean region, with its diverse culture, histories, and geographies. Has immense potential for growth and development. However, to fully harness this potential, it is essential to empower the youth, who constitute a significant portion of the population. We will be talking about the importance of policies aimed at boosting employability, entrepreneurship, and innovation among the youth in the Euro-Mediterranean region, spanning from Southern Europe to Northern Africa and all the Middle East, and I'm talking from the heart of the Middle East, Lebanon, who we really faced and still facing a lot of challenges, where we actually took the decision to move on. I mean, we all know the phoenix, you know, we pledge ourselves to be Arabs and Phoenicians. We rise from the ashes, so regardless of the challenges, we're still going on. And to answer your question exactly, you started where it's actually needed. There's a big social stigma that technical and vocational education is normally for dropouts, for failures, or for those who are unsuccessful in the regular education or academic education, whereas you cannot judge a fish by its ability to fly. Some people are more qualified technically rather than qualified academically. So what we have been doing for the past few years, and we're still ongoing in our strategic framework, is promoting vocational education as a way out of any hardship. It's a solution rather than being looked at as a minor option for students and for youth to take. But first we have to understand that the demography, or the youth demographic movement between, you know, how much the population is affected within youth, how much dropouts, how much unemployed, and exactly to echo your voice, Dr. Majdi, that most of the graduates from the vocational or technical education are easier to find jobs. They always find it easier to find jobs. They're skilled, they're qualified. They have been ongoing 3 or 4 years, or even 6 months. It depends on the technicalities, but they can easily find jobs, and they are needed and requested. So our role is to enhance the education and training, to give them adequate education, to give them adequate training that actually meets with the market needs. So we have always to have an eye on what the market is needing now, what the market is going to need 3 years from now. I give an example for AI now. Now there's going to be a need for more IT and artificial intelligence, so we can shift our students to that rather than, let's say, internal decoration or other obsolete specialties. We can and we will and we are still fostering entrepreneurship. We had some partnership with our international NGOs partners who did a tryout with 160 students who gave them a full scholarship based on their qualification and their grades, and they gave them startup money to start their own businesses. And remarkably, the success is really high. So we can bank on such expertise and exercises where we can spread it out more. Boosting innovation is one of the key points that we have to touch. And of course, encouraging cross-border collaboration, which is still very shy, if I can say, between the Euro-Mediterranean countries. Yes, we see such conferences, we see such gathering. We hear a lot about, support, very, shiny words, but when it comes to actually doing or walking the talk, we see less and less of that. So we highly need cross-border collaboration in terms of supporting youth and very qualified youth. And last but not least, of course, it's about empowering women and minorities. So to counter the stigma, the social stigma that no, you cannot be an entrepreneur, no, you cannot open your own business, you're a woman, you cannot have your own mechanic shop. We are able to counter this. We can empower youth and women, and we can delete and deplete those stigmas of the social awareness, like you can't do this or you cannot do this. But this can only be done by the cross-border collaboration and actually investing in this cause. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. To join, to make the links with our discussion yesterday's and also the impact of Industry 4.0, 5.0, and 6.0 that Professor Yusuf mentions, and that will be the impact of digitalizations in terms of to create jobs or to have more or less a job in our regions. We have with us Mr. Hijazi. He's the general manager of at VDC, Business Development Centers. Mr. Hijazi, he spent more than 20 years as professional experience, expert in entrepreneurship and business incubators. And I'd like to ask you a question, Mr. Hijazi, about what do you think about digitalizations and the impact of digitalizations to promote entrepreneurships? That will be an opportunities to promote entrepreneurship programs in the regions via digitalizations, but also that will be a risk to suppress a lot of jobs also in the regions.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mr. Majdi, and please allow me to thank FEMISE and IEMED for this invitation, for being with this great and informative experts that I arrived yesterday, sorry for that, but again, I've heard a lot of points that might be helpful for our country. Let me just a quick brief about Business Development Center as a non-for-profit organization located in Jordan. We are helping we are contributing to our economy through different pillars by enhancing and building the capacity of young youth people, either for employment or self-employment. And when we talk about employment, most of our programs are designed based on demand-driven. So we build partnerships with the private sector, understanding the context of each area, each governorate in Jordan, because each governorate and each area, it has its own priorities and it has its own needs and requirements. Based on that, we develop our curricula and our employability or self-employment program. As an example, in the north, there is a high presence of the private sector. So the employment opportunities are very high in these areas, while in the southern governorates, there is a very low presence for the private sector, so we are focusing more on self-employment. I totally agree with Ms. Afaf and Mr. Hussam on entrepreneurship and how we promote entrepreneurship. So Jordan has great steps in promoting entrepreneurship in Jordan. Lately, His Majesty, 1 year and a half, he launched the economic modernization vision. And one of the most important engines, it's entrepreneurship and innovation. And they are focusing on digital and digitalization in this engine, while as well incentivizing a lot of young youth people to create or to start their own businesses within this sector. As we know, as well, there is like a huge demand on cybersecurity. There is a huge demand for developers and programmers, and as well in different fields. Any kind of businesses nowadays, they need someone they want to digitalize, or they want to be tech-enabled projects, and that's why we have launched a program called INHAD. I know some people from the region, they know what's the meaning of INHAD. INHAD means Rise Up, which is a national self-employment program. It's a comprehensive approach that through this program we are trying to present a one-stop shop for young entrepreneurs to start their own businesses. I totally agree with Afaf and Mr. Hussam that we need to promote entrepreneurship within the schools. However, we are spending a lot of efforts to embed digital skills and entrepreneurship skills within our vocational schools and our schools. But however, we need as well to bridge the gap between the educational system and the market needs. So what we are doing right now, we are building the capacity, providing capacity building for young entrepreneurs who would like to start their own businesses, who would like to transform their passion into action by building their capacity, entrepreneurial competences. And then we link them with a feasibility study until we provide them we link them with concessional loans or let's say crowdfunding or angel investors. So as you know, access to finance channels are wide, and we have different types of access to finance. Afterwards, it's not enough to provide three main components. We need as well to work with them on linking them with mentors and do some networking and business linkages. And this is how we can strengthen our policies. Actually, we have a lot of policies. We have youth policy and strategy in Jordan. We have the economic modernization vision. But however, we need to strengthen this policies through upgrading and developing a good network between young entrepreneurs in Jordan and young entrepreneurs in different countries. However, going back to digital, from our BDC perspective, we focus on the person himself or herself, how they can turn the dream into reality and to start their own businesses, or how they can find a proper, decent job in order to increase livelihoods or to improve their lives. We don't focus only on a specific sector, we focus on all sectors. However, we are still moving forward in Jordan in developing and embedding digital skills across all our programs. As you know, nowadays it's a trend in all countries, and we need to make sure that all people that they can either build their businesses or they can find a job, but they have the right digital skills. I will give you an example. Like sometimes we are trying to maneuver or find a way how we can create gig economy and how we can help people to start their own businesses from home. through utilizing digital skills. This is one of the things. If we are empowering women as well, we are trying to help women to let her understand how she can utilize, because the main challenges for women to excel in her business sometimes, especially in the most vulnerable areas, are transportation and delivery and e-wallets. So utilizing digital skills is very important to promote her products online, and as well in order to do the right transactions, getting her payment, and as well delivering her product online. Sorry for being late.
No, it's okay. Thank you. And you think that digital skills is the solution and the path to reduce unemployment and to encourage entrepreneurship? There are no other solutions for that?
If I understand your question properly, I think digital skills will accelerate the process, and it will make our projects more innovative and actually more accessible, not only for local markets, as well for regional and international markets. Whether we are talking for making our people internationally employable, or making our businesses, providing our young entrepreneurs with the right skills to make their businesses accessible for the regional and international markets. From our perspective, sometimes there will be the digital skills. They might, if we are talking about AI, there is like some people, they are worried about losing their jobs because of artificial intelligence, and they might replace them with the AI's technology. And from our perspective as BDC, we found that having this digital skills embedded with whether employment or entrepreneurship, it will increase the turnover, and it will accelerate the growth of any business, or expand, or let our people get more exposed for international business opportunities.
No, I just mention digital skills because there are a lot of studies about the impact of these entrepreneurship programs, and in terms of impact, and many studies show that the project created by this youth, they are no sustainables, and after 5 to 10 years, perhaps they change, and they lose their business, despite people they have digital skills. This is they are particularity that entrepreneurs who have digital skills, they are more sustainable than the other, because one of the challenge now with entrepreneurship programs is this sustainability. It's not so effective, okay, because you can have 200, 300 youth who create their business, but after 5 years, you can find just small group. Even for immigrations, we can find, for example, qualified worker who immigrate illegally, but there are very few numbers of them who they have digital skills. When you make the profiling of that, it's just to show the importance of the digital skills now to resolve many problems. That will be just that I can just to react to your presentations. Thank you, Mr. Hijazi, and we'll open discussions for the floor. If there are any questions to. Thank you. Yeah, Mr. Do.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much for all the super interesting presentations. I wanted to ask about something that touches upon a lot of things that basically all of you mentioned, so the perception of certain jobs. You said not everybody can and should be an entrepreneur, right? There are many other jobs that people can be doing. And from my own research in Jordan, I found this really interesting. A lot of people that I talked to were mentioning that, you know, there's a lot of stigma, for instance, about, well, maybe not stigma, but being a taxi driver is not seen as a prestigious job. But if you're a Kareem captain, this is something, you know, like, wow, okay, this sounds good. So I want to ask you from your experience, do you think that this digital could be used to kind of elevate the social kind of respectability or social perception of some other jobs that perhaps are there, people, young people or older people could be taking them, if, you know, the perception that they look good could be elevated through the digital? Thank you. It's an open question. I think any of you could actually answer that.
Okay. Please.
Thank you. So I want to address the question to all the speakers also. Here I want to talk about the way of the education system. We have the experience in Tunisia of the education system, which is really very classical, and here we have the experience also that the professional training that Mr. Hossein talked about, it's not as important as before. And if we take the experience of Germany now, at the age of 10, children have to choose between going to a classical way or going to the professional training schools, which gave very good results. Also at the university, we have dual universities. You have classical university and applied science university for the German model. I think in the South Mediterranean region, for Tunisia, I've talked about the constraints that the entrepreneurs face, like the languages. I totally agree with her. I think that in the South Mediterranean region, in Tunisia, for example, and the other countries, we need to move forward to a new way of education, to have a dual system that mix between the classical way of education and very strong professional training since the age of 10 or 12 or something like that. That's very important. Also, the question of the entrepreneurship. For example, we have also in Tunisia, we have the experience of giving courses of entrepreneurship at the university. Now they have as a subject. It gave no results. Anyway, the culture of entrepreneurship, it's a culture that I think it's a skill that somebody has to take since he's very young, since the primary school. With time, then they will have to maybe make some experiences to create a kind of a junior enterprise or something like that. And with that experience, he will have the skills to become an entrepreneur, and not at the university as a subject to know some, I don't know, some methods about how to create to create his own business that he will succeed to have that. Okay.
Thank you. Adil, please.
Thank you, Majdi, and the panelists for your excellent talk. I have I would like to share with you some comments, free comment like this for entrepreneurship. I've been a consultant for the African Development Bank for the entrepreneurship platform for North Africa for more than 2 years. And one of the problems of entrepreneurship is if we look at the age. Successful entrepreneurs have on average 45 years. They have solid networks, social networks. So launching, it's not kids, but youth. Say I go for entrepreneurship without any networks, it's very difficult for them. So we need to be really very careful about what are we doing. The second thing is entrepreneurship is a collective action. It's not an individual action. This is a misunderstanding. And we have a problem for collaboration between people in the southern part of the Mediterranean. And we think that it's my project. I want to make my project. No, you cannot succeed in your project if you have not the help of the others. And this is a misunderstanding because we are launching them as an individual project. They need to, and this is not the case when you see what is happening in the other. The third thing, I think that entrepreneurship competencies are now life skills. They are really life skills. And we need them for everybody, not only for this category. My last comment, we need to look at the data for gender, because there is a big and a huge problem of gender entrepreneurship in the Southern. If you look at, for example, the world average is around 20%, 20% only. And if you look at Tunisia, it's only 9.8% of entrepreneurs are women. And I was with the Ministry of Women and in order to make the strategy recently. And this is a really big problem for us. And if you look at this 9.8, they are in the informal sector. Okay. So really we need to focus collective, how to engage youth with older people, and how to make specific programs for these gender bias and gender inequalities.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll take just the two last questions, and because we have to finish in times, perhaps with 5 minutes delays. Please.
Thank you. Mundel Lassassi from Algeria. So I think another problems of startup in our region, in addition to age and connection, network connection, they do not launch project according to the needs of the labor market. So usually they develop more platforms in service, but they don't, and after they seek to place this solution in the labor market. And this process, you should inverse the process. The startup or entrepreneur should develop, respond to the need of the labor market, find solution, innovative solution for the labor market, and not the inverse.
Okay, thank you. The last comment.
Thank you very much. I would buy the comment which has been made earlier by my colleague. We talk about market failures, and we know that market failures are very important in developing countries, in MENA countries, and more in sub-Saharan African countries, of course. We have problems with identification of an organization that can finance and so on and so forth. But there is something which is very important and which conditions the ability to upgrade from small to medium-sized firms, and this is what the economists call coordination failure, collective action, of course, is fight to what extent people had connections within this sector and the ability to promote their product, to upgrade in the value chain by financing some costs, for example, to provide new models and to sell the products in northern countries. And it is clear that no one was ready to accept to share information to upgrade their activity. And so we have a collective action which is not there. The coordination failure, unfortunately, if the business climate is not friendly, you cannot trust the state. If you have the impression that the state is not neutral vis-à-vis the different firms which are in the district, it cannot be done. So it belongs maybe to Europe, for example, to contribute to finance this kind of activities contributing to the reduction of coordination failures. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, we'll ask we'll answer all the questions and everyone. And I just just to react to your point, because now we discuss a lot about informalities and how to include people from the informal markets and informal economy. But there are another phenomena now. With all what you mentioned, there are many entrepreneurs, especially youth, who move from the formal to informal market to survive. And this is, for example, suggestions perhaps for the next conference to discuss about informalities and these transitions. Let's start we give the floor with Mr. Giuseppe. We have 2 minutes each one of the speakers to answer the questions.
Thank you. I will try to make it under 2 minutes. I heard that many of the questions touch the topic of the education system and in which way it should be going. In Germany, we have great best practices. The issue about education is that it's very difficult to copy from one country to the other, because every country has its own different history, its own way of looking at things. And sometimes a system that is functioning very well might not be entirely the best fit. For instance, how many kids at 10 years old, 12 years old can choose, should I go for universities or for vocational education and training? Often what happens in many cases is that it depends on how the wealth of your family. So we must avoid systems which are too rigid, otherwise the risk becoming a way of sorting people according to class or any kind of way. We should try to embrace instead transdisciplinarity in a way that if I choose a certain path of education, I can switch to the other and have skills coming from both ways. If we really want to have youth that can adapt to the changes, because what I'm going to choose now might not have any relevance when I'm going out of the education system in 20 years. So it's good to learn from the countries which are performing very well, but let's keep in mind that we are in our own countries and we should try to give something which works for everyone, for all the students. Thank you.
Thank you. Afif?
I will answer your question and Adel, not question, but comment. I totally agree with you, Adel. I 100% agree with you about all the time we hear about programs for youth, for marginalized city, for youth. This is not healthy. This is not good. And I will tell you why. I worked with a donor, and I worked also with a civil society. And the idea is, unfortunately, and this is happening, again, not only in Tunisia, in a lot of countries, that the support structures in a lot of countries are responding to the donor's need. If, for example, the donor, he has also, or they have a KPI, which is, majority is women, youth, between age of 15 until 30 years old, in the green sector, all of these things. If you are a support structure that you provide this for me, I will give you grant. You will pay your salaries and you will do things within the country. If you will not respond, I will not give you that. What's happening now? Support structures will follow the donor. And this is not good. Which means not a lot of support structures, I'm talking about the majority, not a lot of support structures, they do what they want and they bring money and the donor will follow what they want to achieve as an objective. And this is the problem why, for example, a lot of startups, they're not answering the need of the labor market. And this is why we see a lot of programs supporting youth, but not people. For example, I'm 33. So I cannot attend some programs, but I have a lot of ideas and experience in my life that makes me today could be a good entrepreneur and could contribute to the economic development. So diversify the programs and not like also we have to do some advocacy within the donors for German, French, Italy, I don't know, like this American donors, Europe to change a little bit the strategy about not only supporting youth, because it's not only the unemployment rate is 30% within the youth, but also youth under the 24. But we didn't see also people 40 years old, 50 years old who are now lack of missing economic opportunities. So this is the solution, is to advocate within the grant providers, so then the support sector will follow, so then the programs will follow.
Thank you. Mr. Hossein?
Yes, I would like to highlight something maybe we are just willingly deciding not to look at. We are a lot of time hearing the word of influencers. To answer your question directly, you said what can make a taxi driver look more welcoming. We should be looking more modestly at the age gaps between us and the youth. And I can give you a small example of what has been going between reading a book, then going to YouTube for a summary or get references, and now it's like more than 5 seconds TikTok or Instagram Shorts. So we need to have an open discussion about this, and how much can this influence the attractiveness of vocational education, and can we actually leverage having those influencers and making them and asking them to ask for help actually to make vocational education or any technical education or technician or skill or all of those can look more appealing. This is to answer the first question. Second question about the education system and is it really linked to needs, market needs? We have created something called GEOs, which are guidance and employment officers. So at the moment the kid reaches the school, he's welcomed by a GEO, and he's helped to choose which is best for him, and the GEO knows what's needed for the market. So this is one way to look at it. About the disbelief of the whole system, the education system, I think we need to look more at a holistic view. It's not one component. It's never one component. We need to look at everything. Somehow, the reason entrepreneurship is failing to youth because there's disbelief. There's, at some areas, at some countries, still even at we could say a little bit advanced countries, fear of feudalism. Like, they would not say, what, we're just created to be workers. We are just workers. So the concept of being your own boss is not really saturated yet. So this is one way to look at it. And about the networking, Mr. Adil, that has said about they have no network, that's 100% right. But can we create platforms? Everything which is accessible and free is always welcomed. So when we want to give them a platform to be an entrepreneur, we just we have to give them the extra spoon or fork. Like you have this network, just call and ask. The more we simplify it, the more effective it is. And it's all about the collective actions. Just to top it up, to answer your question, it's a more of collective effort between the education system, how reliable and fast the studies of the market needs. Our issue we are facing in the Ministry of Education is always that we go make a study what the market needs are. The study takes 2 years to be done. By this time, new needs are rising up, so the whole study is gone to trash. So it's a collective effort between government, between policymakers, between institution, private and public institution, exactly combined everything, and with the help of the Europeans. And when I say that, advanced countries, it's all about success stories. Success story doesn't have strictly to be from a European country. Ourselves, we're going to go to Egypt within the coming months. They have done something which is creating a school, a technical school within factories, like per se LG or General Electric. They have created a vocational and technical school within this factory. So the student will have this dual system of actually half of his time in school getting academic education and technical. So it's a success story coming from Egypt. We're going to replicate it. And, this is like the whole holistic approach I'm talking about. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Hijazi?
Thank you so much. I would like to highlight 2 points I've heard from, if I'm not wrong, Mr. Adil. I agree with you, but we need to be careful and very cautious when we are promoting entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship, it's not a replacement for someone who did not find a job. So we need to make him an entrepreneur. So we need to be careful when we are embedding the entrepreneurship concept within the educational system or within the or someone who is a job seeker and he or she did not find a job. So the solution, in order to be employed, start your own business. There is like a specific criteria. We need to make sure that our young youth people, they understand it's not a It's not a beautiful life that you have your own business. There is a lot of challenges you might be facing while you are starting your own business. So we need to make sure that they are ready, they understand what are the challenges. Most of our people in Jordan, I'm talking, and I'm pretty sure that in other Mediterranean countries, they have the same mindset sometimes, that most of people in Jordan, they thought that the most successful element to start a business, to find money or get a loan or get funds. And from our perspective, no, it's the entrepreneur himself. Whether you have a business, the best business plan, it is designed by the largest organization in the world, or you have the right market research. All these things should be implemented by the entrepreneur himself or herself. So focusing on personal entrepreneurial competences, this is the most important thing, and we want to make sure that we are not promoting entrepreneurship just to find a way, in our policies, I mean, just to find a way to make our people get employed. The second point that I want to tackle, or in this context and to policy level, when we talk about who can, and I like some German modalities and best practices, there's like youth centers that you can refer to it, and through this counseling sessions or they call psychometric tests, they can understand what are the skills that they have, and based on that they can give an advice where to go and what they should start. And we are trying to do the same in Jordan based on the maturity level. So going back to Mr. Adel point regarding the age, we found we have been implementing this project that have been launched by His Majesty INHAD or Rise Up or the National Self-Employment Program for the past 4 years. And we found people from the age 18 until 24, they are not bankable. They don't know how to manage money, even you have trained them. So 25 up to 45, they are bankable, and they have good practices to get access to finance, whether from angel investors or to present their ideas. So based on the maturity level, we need to deal with our young youth people. And one last point, it is important to utilize digital platforms to present who's who in the market and to strengthen our ecosystems. A lot of people, when they want to start and to be engaged in the labor market, they want to start their own businesses or they want to find a job, they don't know where to go. So since we have the digital world, we need to present who's who and each organization, what they are doing. So what we are trying to do as well in our country to do a kind of mapping for all ecosystem that they are supporting young youth people, and let them understand what kind of services they can get from all these organizations. And I'm inviting as well next time if we can present such best practices or best modalities from different countries. I like the SMEs best practices in Tunisia. They are even sometimes I've talked to a lot of people from Tunisia, and sometimes they said it works, it doesn't work. But however, we are trying in Jordan to present this modality for supporting and incentivizing SMEs, small and medium enterprises, and as well to build a network between Mediterranean or Mediterranean countries, Mediterranean countries in between entrepreneurs and young youth people. This will help them to get exposed, to understand, to find solutions for their challenges, and engaging them in this way will enhance our, or it will increase the possibility of making successful policies and engaging more people in the labor market. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Hajaji. I just like to share with you just one information. And in our institute, we make studies all the times about jobs, and and entrepreneurships. And for example, when we observe what are the trends about the hunter companies, there are many hunter companies. We make a survey with them, and they operate in Tunisia and also in other North African countries to hunt some people to go and working abroad. And what are the jobs that they ask for? IT engineers, doctor, that's all the times at the top of the list, nurse, and there are others. They are now in the list, the top. Cookers, truck drivers, and bus drivers. And because the European markets, they change, and perhaps they need cheaper employees than people who come from other European countries. And when we observe that, and we see what are the react in terms of training and educations in the private sectors. There are a high demand for all and for private universities, for IT, for paramedicals, and also all the vocational trainings. They have demand abroad. They are a huge demand. People, they ask to have professional passports, professional visa to go and work abroad, not with this. And this is now what happens. Now all our systems is driven by international job markets. Is not reactions to what happens in our countries and the domestic job markets. And this is the fact that also they like to highlight it, and I will thank you for your patience and for attentions, and thank you very much.
Merci, Majdi.